Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and I'm sorry if I'm a little sweaty and disheveled looking, but I've been doing a little bit of garden work. I'm trying to recover from a cold, so I'm not feeling too great. But it's just about ready to rain, and I have several plants that I wanted to plant. And I wanted to show you the first one that I'm going to be doing. Now the first one is this lovely little elderberry. I'm up on my hill. There's my house way down there at the top of my hill. And this area gets full sun and it gets the irrigation from my hill. And I wanted to plant the Sambucus nigra. It's a jonade. Let me pull the tag so you can look at it. So it's a Sambucus nigra jonade serenade. Now the reason I wanted to plant this one is, number one, it's going to be a pollinator for my laced up elderberries. I have two of them down at the bottom of the hill, and they need a different variety of Sambucus nigra to pollinate them so that we can get elderberries off of them. Now this one is definitely a different variety. It only grows supposedly 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, and it has beautiful fall color and beautiful leaves when they're coming in the spring. The new growth is gorgeous. And you can see the summer growth. This is September, so these are going to start changing color here shortly. But they are really quite a pretty little leaf. So I'm going to plant them in this hole. I've hacked at that hole for a while. I don't think it's deep enough yet, but I'm going to try out the plant and see if there's a way to get it in there, because we've hit solid rock down at the bottom of it. So let's try to plant it and see what happens. Now if you look at the root system of this, it's really quite nice. There's not a lot of messing that's going to need to be done. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be more digging of this hole, which, yeah, it's not fitting in there. So we've got more digging to do. Now it started to rain, so we need to hurry a little bit. But we pulled out my digging bar right here. And I end up having to use this more often than not in my property because the soil can be so rocky and so hard. So let me see if I can get this hole loosened up and get those last few inches dug out. Okay, there we go. It fits perfectly. Let me adjust it just a little bit so it's facing the same way as the hill. And then I think what I'm going to do is pour some water in this hole, let it drain, and then actually plant the plant. Now we'll let that drain. I hope it drains pretty quickly because we've got this rain coming. And we'll add some plant tone to the dirt that I pulled out of the hole while we're waiting for that to drain. So we're going to take our plant, position it again nicely so that it's even in the hole, facing the way the slope is facing. And then we're going to pull the dirt back in around it that has the fertilizer mixed in it. And then we're going to take some of the dirt that came out of the hole that we can't fit back in the hole, and we're going to make a little berm around the bottom edge because this is on a slope and water does slide off pretty easily. So we're just going to make a little catchment basin. So when the drip irrigation goes off, it will hold a little bit of that water while it soaks in, rather than running off completely. I'm going to need to get a chip drop. I'm going to need to get a chip drop so that we can get this area mulched really well also. But we'll just need to water it, and then I think we are good to go. There's our little jonade serenade Sambucus nigra, all planted. I'm excited to see what this looks like in the spring. Now I'm really excited that we were able to get that elderberry planted before it rains, because I'd love it to soak up all the rain that we're supposed to be getting. We're supposed to get rain for the next 3 days. I don't really know if that's going to happen or not. Our area has tended to miss all of the rains lately. We've only had one good soaking rain that I could think of this year. We've had two 2 rainstorms. One didn't soak enough that I could turn off the irrigation, one did. So I'm hoping the combination of all the rain that we're going to get the next 3 days will be enough to water my landscape pretty well. Now it has stopped raining, but my energy is completely gone. I am still recovering from a cold that has kind of knocked me for a loop. But let me show you the other 3 plants that we're going to plant, and I will come back when I have more energy and it's not raining, and we'll plant those together. Now the first one is going to be a germander. I have 2 of them already, and I absolutely love them. It's semi-evergreen, beautiful pink flowers all summer, and it's just this cute little plant with this beautiful dark green foliage. So this one is germander. Hopefully that focuses. Now the next one's a new one to me. This is a box honeysuckle. I don't know how well they grow here. The nursery that I bought him from is called Progressive Plants, and he hasn't seen these too often either grown in this area. So I'm just going to trial them and see how they do. Now if they do well, they could be a good replacement for boxwood. Now they do need a little bit of shade. In the nursery they grew them in full sun, but they had a lot of water on them, and they didn't burn very much. We just went through a period of like over 100 degree temperatures for over a week, and I'm seeing a little bit of burn on here, and I did have them in the shade. So I am going to plant them where they'll get some shade. Well, actually one of them will get some shade during the day, and the other one will get full sun at the end of the day. So this is the name of them. Hopefully you can see it. It's Lonicera, which is the honeysuckles, Nitida, if I pronounce that correctly, Thunderbolt, and it's Thunderbolt box honeysuckle. And I think they're absolutely gorgeous. If you let them go, they're going to have this beautiful kind of tiered look, but you can prune them up, supposedly, we'll have to see, any way you want, and turn them into like a boxwood hedge. So I will be, as I said, I will be planting these as soon as the rain is cleared up and as soon as I have more energy again, and I'll bring you back on this video just to show you where we planted them. I am back, it's another day, and we got a ton of rain. I am really excited about the amount of rain that we got. We got enough that I'm not going to have to water for another week. It was probably at least an inch of rain, and is definitely needed here in the state of Utah. I know a lot of areas are in the state of a drought. Now as for energy, it's not all the way back. I finally went to the doctor and found out I am battling bronchitis, got on antibiotics. But anyway, first thing we need to do is finish this video and get the last 2 plants planted, because I did plant one other plant. I planted the germander without videoing it, so let me show you where I put that one. Now it is in the shadows. I'm hoping the camera adapts a little bit, but this is a germander that I put in last spring, and then right next to it, so I could kind of have a little bit of a hedge on this corner, you know, to fill this corner in, we put the second germander. Now the last 2 plants that need to be planted are the Lonicera Thundercloud. So I think what I'm going to do is plant this one here, right next to my raised bed, and that one over there, right next to that irrigation line. Now the reason I'm putting these here is I have a path that goes from my front door to the back fence in my seating area. And I'm not planning on putting anything other than mulch in this path. The neighborhood kids have permission to ride this circle. You know, we've got my path, my chat path there. They come around the mulched path. They are very careful about my plants, and then they go out this path. And they absolutely love it, so I let them do that. So there's going to be no other materials, but I wanted this path to have more of a naturalistic look to it, rather than a straight shot. So I'm thinking these will get 4 feet wide and approximately 4 feet tall and spill out, and that'll give this more of a naturalistic look. So let's get planting. Now it's not as moist in here as I had hoped. It's still pretty dry. This is the sandy layer that the previous homeowner brought in, so it doesn't hold water that well. And then I hit the rock layer below, because below my sandy layer is a rock layer. The sand, as I said, was a topsoil that the previous owner brought in. So let's get this planted and see if this hole is deep enough. It's not too root bound, it looks pretty good. We'll mess it up just a little bit. We want to make sure that the roots don't decide to circle the planting hole. They'll just go straight out. Pull out a little bit more of this dirt. We will water that in a bit, and we'll start with the next one. There, it's all planted and watered in. This is what I dug out of that hole. It's to the point where you can't use the flat edge of the pickaxe because you hit a rock every time. You've got to use the sharp pointy end of the pickaxe. But as you can see, having rocky soil really does not hamper plants. It just hampers the planting of those plants. So here we have it. 3 days, 4 plants planted, 1 video made, 1 project ticked off my mile-long to-do list. But one of the things I've learned as being a single mom, business owner, doing all the things that I've done throughout my life, is sometimes I need to temper expectations of what I can do. So I think I'm going to slow down just a little bit, take a little bit of time to rest, get rid of this bronchitis, and be ready to hit things full force a little bit later. So hopefully my videos have been helpful for you. If my video is helpful today, please like, subscribe, share them with your friends, share a comment down below, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.